Okay, so today I will be talking about Module 6 on sex and gender. So, a lot of the characteristics of a man that were talked about in the video were, for one, having a lot of facial hair. When you think of a man, you think of them having a big beard, a big mustache, just a bunch of facial hair and body hair. They take up a lot of space, and by this I mean like it is their presence is known when they are in the room, that they're not awkward when they're talking to other people. Men are seen to be bold people, and that they don't cry, as in they don't show or express their emotions like how women do. Also, it is something by protecting their woman is seen a lot with men. And one of the main things that were talked about in the video was how men are to be muscular men, not skinny or bony, but buff in a way. So, growing up, I would always hear that the man would be the one in charge of the house, especially for me, growing up in a Hispanic household. This was a very big thing. With that being said, he was portrayed as someone who was strong and big in their physique. Their presence was always known when they were in a room. I don't agree that it is how they should be expected to act and look today, but it has been that way for many years. What it means for cisgender men to do gender the right way would be to be yourself and to be vulnerable and accountable. Many people today expect men to be the strong person both physically and mentally. If men don't show these characteristics, they are not seen as a manly man and are often treated differently if they acted the way that society expects them to. Men are supposed to be able to express themselves in any way they would want to, but sometimes it is not accepted by others. One of the things that I see a lot now is men joining cheerleading. I have seen older movies that contain men in this type of activity, but they are not seen as being less masculine. For many people, this would not look right, and they would probably get backlash for doing such things. I am frequently going to the nail salon and have noticed that many men have started to go and get their nails done as well. I usually only ever see them doing their toes, but it is something that I never saw growing up, which made me realize how this has changed over the years. Even though many people would probably say that the men going into nail salon in the first place would be kind of weird, and I could see some negative comments being said about this. One thing from Debbie Sterling's story that was particularly interesting to me was how she mentioned that most girls lost their interest in math and science at a really young age. And I do remember for me, like in fourth grade, I went to a science camp because I was just so in love with the subject and it was just so interesting to me. But then I realized that in the years growing up, I just lost interest in science and math. And to be honest, it is some of the um, topics that I can't grasp sometimes. She mentioned how a study was done across the country, which tested boys and girls on the same science test, and girls turned out to do better around the world, except the United States. She says how it is not a biological thing, but a cultural thing, because from a young age, you are expected to be a certain way. I want to go into education as of now. I am thinking about being a teacher. When I searched the male to female ratio in the education profession, it mentioned that 74.3% of all teachers are women and 25.7% are men. I currently do work at a school in the office setting, and the women do outweigh the men in our campus. When I was a student, I